Back here on the AuraRadio show with your boy Coach West, and we're now going to take a look at Psalm 3. Psalm 3 shows us what faith looks like when it is tested, when situations and circumstances arise in our lives from people and problems, and how do we respond and handle them. What you and I are at our most desperate moments is a glimpse into what we really are. Here is where our faith should shine through, and God is glorified through our faith. Where we decide to turn when we face what we never wanted or never dreamed of happening to us, that is when what is really on the inside comes out. The background for Psalm 3 can be found in 2 Samuel chapter 14 to chapter 16, when King David is running away from his son Absalom, who's trying to overthrow him. This is a psalm that David wrote that shows his thoughts, feelings, and emotions as he encountered this situation. We see David's human side, but we also see David's faith. Psalm 3 is also called a mourning song, and it is the first song where we see the word Selah. The word Selah in Psalms is a musical pause in which the writer wants the person singing the song, or in our case, the people reading the song, to pause for a moment to think about what they had just sung or what we just read. With that background information, let's now read Psalm 3 from the ESV, Save Me, Oh My God, a psalm of David when he fled from Absalom, his son. Verse 1. O Lord, how many are my foes? Many are rising against me. Many are saying of my soul, there is no salvation for him in God. Selah. But you, O Lord, are a shield about me, my glory and the lifter of my head. I cried aloud to the Lord, and he answered me from his holy hill. Selah. I lay down and slept. I woke again, for the Lord sustained me. I will not be afraid of many thousands of people who have set themselves against me all around. Arise, O Lord, save me, O my God, for you strike all my enemies on the cheek. You break the teeth of the wicked. Salvation belongs to the Lord. Your blessings be on your people. Selah. Now, let's break this psalm down in 3 parts based on the Selahs, the musical pauses in the psalm. First, David tells God his situation. Then he finds comfort in God. And finally, David confidently praises God. Now, looking at verse 1 and 2, David goes to God and gives him his dilemma or problem. David is telling God that it seems like the world is against him, and that his problems and troubles are continuing to mount against him, and that many people are saying that the problems and people that he are up against, even God can't help him out of this. In our everyday lives, how often do we doubt that God can help us with our regular everyday problems? Or how severe and serious are the problems that we simply turn away from God, not looking to him at all, and try to fix it ourselves with the mentality that there is no help at all from God? In the context here, Absalom, David's son, had the hearts of men of Israel, meaning they were siding with him and were against David in the court of public opinion. Many people today, when facing life situations and circumstances, no matter what they might be, side with public opinion and side with handling the situation the way the world would, and use the excuse God can't help them for their reasoning, or they want God's help but feel as if God can't help. So we live out our lives responding and reacting the wrong way without God to people, problems, circumstances, and situations because we feel God can't help, and the advice that God's word gives does not apply to us and in our particular situation. But we see David responds. He exercises his faith and he places his trust in God. In verse 3 to 6, and this is his response to the people, problems, and naysayers that he came to God with in verses 1 and 2. David in his morning prayer responds out of his faith, with no doubt displaying courage and confidence, knowing he serves a God that protects his people and encourages his people through their faith and obedience to his word. Not only does God protect and encourage his people through their faith and obedience to his word, they can come to God in prayer boldly and know that God will answer their prayers. Why? Because they are in his word and are aligned with his will and walking in his way, which gives God glory. See Psalm 37 verse 3 and 4, see James 4 verses 2 and 3, and see 1 John 5 verses 14 and 15. Through faith and obedience to the word, we are made strong in the Lord, and the results of this strength is peace that goes beyond all understanding. See Philippians 4:7. And we have no fear, See 2 Timothy 1:7. So we see going on as David did in verses 7 and 8, living in faith and as believers, exalting God and giving Him glory, because He will take care of our enemies and get rid of the wicked and pull us through any circumstance and situation by our faith and trust in Him. When we rely on God and faith to pull us through these tough situations and circumstances, not only does our faith grow and trust in God grows, we are ultimately blessed by the Lord, and in the end we are better for it, because the Lord knows best and all glory goes to God.